Okay. So I'll have you standing at the top of your yoga mat or the back, wherever is comfortable. And I want you just to take a few moments to check in, like where are your feet? Do you have a lot of your weight on your toes? Do you have a lot of weight on your heels, the outside of the foot, the inside of the foot? Are you standing more on the right versus the left? Just think about those things, and you don't have to change anything or adjust anything, but move up the body and think about, are my knees locked out? Are they flexed? Is one straighter than the other? Is one contracting differently than the other? Again, move up now to the hips. Does it feel like one hip is twisted forward or backwards? Feel like one hip is tighter just standing here? Then think about the low back and the abdomen. Are you gripping in your abdomen? Are you holding your abs in? Are you holding your breath? Moving up, think about your rib cage. Are you kind of flexed forward? Are you really arching your back? Then up to the shoulders. Are you pulling your shoulders up towards your head and neck, or are they kind of relaxed down? And then again to the head, neck, and jaw. Are you clenching your jaw right now? Is your head kind of shooting forward, or is everything kind of lined up on top of each other? And while we're in this position, we'll just take a couple breaths in and out, and I'll guide you through that. So just standing, take a deep breath in through your nose, and then out again through your nose. And we'll do two more. So in through the nose and out through the nose. And final one, and this one I want you to think about, don't grip your abdomen at all. Just let everything go. And then out. Good. So now what we're going to do here, you'll stay in that standing position, but, you're not going to sit down yet. I want you to start to reach down towards your toes and do this whichever way you have to do. If you have to bend your back, if you have to bend your knees to get down there, no problem at all. So for me, I'm going to bend my knees a little bit so I'm able to reach down and fully touch my toes without too much stress on my spine or hamstrings. And we're just going to hold here for a second. You can kind of sway back and forth, just letting everything relax in your head and neck. And what we're going to do now is you're going to go up into a flat back position. So I'm going to rotate just so you can see a little bit better. So I'm here now. I'm going to start to straighten my legs and my back to the point where I feel like I can straighten my knees out and my back is remaining flat instead of curved like that. So I'm going to come up, straighten out, feel the stretch in the back of my legs, and then drop back down. And we're going to do that 2 more times. So straightening out the legs, straightening out the back, maybe sliding those hands up the legs a little bit, and then back down. And 1 more time, pushing through the ground, straightening out the legs, straightening out the back, and then back down. Good. So now in this position, you're back in that forward bend position so your hands can touch the ground. I want you to plant your hands on the ground. A little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and then you're going to step your legs back so you're into a plank or the top of a push-up position like so. And we'll just stay here for 2 or 3 breaths on your own count here, and just check in. How does everything feel in this position? Are your wrists a little bit upset with you, or are they okay? How your feet feel? And now what we're going to do is bring your right leg up in between your hands, and if you have to move your right hand, no worries. And you can drop your left knee down, or you could keep it up, whatever feels more comfortable. I'm going to put my knee down just because it's a little easier. And I want you to make sure that you have your left hand planted into the ground, and you're going to reach with your right hand up towards the ceiling. So you're rotating. Your chest is opening up towards your right leg, and we'll hold it there for just a second. And then we're going to come back down. You're going to plant your right hand on the inside of your right foot, and you're going to lift your left and rotate away from your right leg. And holding it there, and we're going to go back. Same thing, rotating towards the right again. and then back down, and towards the left again, and back down. Now what I want you to do is start to shift your weight back onto your left leg, straightening out your front right leg. You should feel a little bit of a stretch in your hamstring, maybe in your calf, the back of your leg. And you're just gonna hold that there for a couple more seconds. I'll count you out. Good. And now we're gonna move back into that lunge position. So bending the right leg, you're gonna plant both hands on the ground and bring your right knee back to meet your left knee on the ground. Or if you're already in that plank position, you could just go right to that. If you're on your knees, now I want you to curl your toes under and go back into that plank. Good. And again, we'll just stay here for a second. And now we're going to bring our left leg up and forward between the hands, just as you did with the right. And again, you could keep your back knee, your right knee up, or you could put it down. I'm going to put mine down. And now you're going to plant that right hand into the ground, and you're lifting the left to rotate and open up your chest towards your left knee. Now you're going to take your left hand, put it next to your left foot on the inside of it, and rotate to the right, opening up your chest away from your knee. And then back down, again, lifting the left hand, rotating the other way. And then back down. And one more time, lifting the right hand and rotating. Good, and back down. Now you're going to shift your weight back onto that right foot and right leg, straightening out the left and the front. And again, feeling the stretch in the back of that left leg. If you need to put your hands down for some support, that's perfectly fine. It's a great idea, actually. And then you're going to come back forward again into that regular lunge. Plant your hands. Bring your left knee back to meet your right, or back into the plank if you stayed with your knees up. And now this time, you're going to lower all the way to the ground. So your belly is going to go down to the ground. And what I want you to do is start to come up, for anyone who does yoga, something like a upward facing dog or a cobra pose, anything that's, you're lifting your chest up off the ground. So I want you to think of pressing your pubic bone into the ground and pressing those elbows and forearms through the ground. If you feel like that doesn't give you enough stretch in the front of your abdomen, you can come up onto your hands to stretch out a little bit more. Personally, I get plenty of stretch with my elbows down, so that's where I'm going to stay. And we'll just take a few breaths here, and this time we'll do some guided breaths. So breathing in through your nose, nice big deep breath in. And then out through your mouth this time. In through your nose again. And then out through the mouth. And one more time in through the nose. And out through the mouth. So now I'm going to have you lower all the way. So lower your chest down to the ground just for a second. Take 2 deep breaths here. And then we're going to come back, propped up on the elbows or propped up on your hands, so you're arching your back again. And now this time, I want you to start to rotate your head and your upper body towards the right. So you're looking, trying to look over your shoulder at your back, to your back leg there, or the corner of the room. And we're just going to hold here. Keep breathing too. Don't hold your breath. Good. And now you're going to come back to center. Take a little break here. And then now we're going to rotate to the left. So rotating the head and then the upper body to the left. Now come back to center. And what I'm going to have you do now is we're actually going to flip onto our backs. So I am going to flip so you can see a little bit more of me here. I'm going to be at a slight angle. Okay. So what we're going to do now is known as happy baby pose. And really it's just opening up your hips a little bit more. So this is where the yoga strap might come in handy if your hips are a little bit tighter. I'll show you first with the yoga strap. So you're going to bring both of your legs up into the air like that, and you could hook your yoga strap or a dog leash or whatever kind of rope you have around your feet like that. And you're going to widen your legs out, much wider than hips width, and you could start to pull down using the yoga strap, pulling your knees on either side of your chest. So my knee is kind of coming on the outside of my rib cage here. So down like that. If you can grab onto your feet, you could do it that way. There's lots of different variations, and I'm sure someone who is certified in yoga instruction will have better naming for it than I do, but you could grab onto the outside of your foot, or you could loop your hands around and grab onto the inside of your foot. It's whatever feels more comfortable, and you could even do a little bit of both. So the end goal is you're trying to get your knees to come down towards the ground. And really what you should feel is a pretty big stretch, hamstrings, maybe your inner thigh, and maybe also the outside of your hip here. So we're gonna hold that. And I want you to take some really, really big, deep breaths in. So I'll guide you through this. We're gonna breathe in and hold, and then let it out. So I'll have you take a deep breath in through your nose now. Hold it. And now let it out through your mouth. Deep breath in again. Hold it. And let it out through your mouth. And finally, one more deep breath in. Hold. And let it out. Good. Okay, so now we'll bring the knees back down to the ground. And I'm going to have you actually turn and come and stand up again. The last thing that we're going to do here is a little bit of a deep squat. So the first option, I'll show you first, and then you could decide what you like, is just doing a regular old deep squat from here. So trying to drop down, hold it there. Do it really wherever your feet, I usually go just shy of wide of the yoga mat, wherever your feet and hips feel comfortable. If that is not achievable and isn't in the cards for you today, that's where the yoga blocks or the foam roller come in. So you can take the yoga blocks. So if I have two of them here stacked up this way, I could sit on them. If I wanted to be a little higher, I could turn them so the tallest side is up, and then I could just sit down right on it there. And now I have a lot less pressure in my hips and my ankles, but I'm still getting some benefit of being in this deep squat position. So this is where I'm going to stay because this feels much more comfortable for me. And we're going to do the same thing as we did with the happy baby. And stick my elbows on the outsides of the inside of my knee right here. And just going to take a couple deep breaths in. So I'll guide you through this again. So breath in through the nose. Hold, and then out. And breath in through the nose. Hold, and then out. Breath in through the nose. Hold, and then out. So as long as we're comfortable, we'll stay in this position for a little bit longer. I'm going to talk just a little bit about pelvic floor muscles and helping them relax, because theoretically with a squatty potty, this is kind of the position that you're going to get into. So when you're breathing in, you're filling the abdomen up with air. Pressure is going down into the pelvic floor. Pelvic floor is probably going to drop down a little bit. And as you breathe out, it's probably going to pull up a little bit. If you're thinking about that in this position now, we're going to do 2 more breaths. Just kind of see, can you feel your pelvic floor moving up and down? Can you feel it contracting and relaxing? So we'll try it one more time, just 2 breaths now. So breathing in and then holding and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Okay, so now you could come and stand up again. And we'll go back to that just standing position that we did in the beginning and just kind of check in again, seeing any difference in your feet, what your knees are doing, what your hips. Do you feel like you're still clenching your abdomen if you were in the beginning? Are you arching your back? Are you slumping down? Or have things changed a little bit? Take a second to do that. And we will call this finished. So if anyone has any questions, feel free, shout them out now, or you could always email me, or reach out to us via the website or social media or anything like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. All right.